basically do what she wants me to do and it's just, I think it's very unilateral, very one-sided, and very controlling.
Right. And Mr. Hoffman is present. I'm assuming you are Gene Hoffman, is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, and then we're on for a motion hearing regarding specifically, excuse me, adding some additional language in the parenting plan regarding extracurricular activities, specifically some sports. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right, I have reviewed the motion and the declarations, the reply declarations. Any additional comments or argument?
Your Honor, just briefly, I understand that you've read all of the materials and there's quite a bit, especially with my client's reply declaration. I just want to stress for the court that my client's request is reasonable. She's simply asking that the children be permitted to engage in extracurricular activities and that both parties be required to take said children to said activities. I understand in Mr. Hoffman's responsive declaration, he went at lengths at villainizing my client and attacking her character and attacking her reasoning for wanting to do this. But I think the facts of the matter are clear. My client doesn't have any basis to control the scheduling of practices and games. And it is unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you're looking at it, the responsibility of the parents to ensure that the children are actively able to engage in activities that they're specifically requesting. My client provides that the youngest child, Keegan, has expressed an interest in wanting to do football. It's been recommended by his counselor that he do football. My client enrolled the child in football, and then father essentially said, either you provide 100% of the transportation or they can't go during my time. Alternatively, he's taken to the position of just foregoing his residential time because he chooses not to take the children to and from their activities on the weekends. And this is causing significant conflict for not only my client, but the children especially. So we're simply just asking that very minimal language be included that includes the ability for the children to participate in these activities and require both parents to ensure that the children are attending these activities.
Great, thank you. Mr. Hoffman.
So I would disagree with that. I actually am not trying to villainize Ms. Manser whatsoever. I'm just trying to point out that this needs to be a joint effort as we are trying to co-parent, not have Ms. Manser make unilateral decision as to what she wants to sign them up for, what she doesn't, especially on my time. Even though my time is already limited, she's just becoming very controlling, overbearing, and despite temporary court orders, she fails to respect them. I mean, every email that is sent, it's always, I've signed them up and you need to take them. It's never, hey, can we just discuss this? Are you able to make them? And, you know, I have limited time with them. So I'm trying to also spend time with them, whether it's go camping, take them on a trip, go somewhere. And this actually prohibits that because Ms. Manser will sign them up and either I have to forego my time or I have to travel 45 minutes each way, you know, go back and forth and, you know, basically do what she wants me to do and it's just, I think it's very unilateral, very one-sided, and very controlling.
I'm assuming you reside outside of Calais County, is that correct?
I do, I reside in Vancouver, yeah.
Okay, I thought I read that.
And then, can I get a chance to respond to her motion?
That's what you're doing right now. So it's
No,
yeah.
to the one that she filed in response to mine.
Oh, her reply declaration.
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, can I submit like evidence or?
We're at the point where I'm going to make a decision, so it's probably too late for that. I don't know if I guess what kind of information, what type of information were you wanting to submit as evidence?
I just wanted to submit just in all the wording and stuff that she didn't necessarily put in the full picture. She just kind of pieced together emails and conversations. There's also video evidence of the interaction between both of us. And just to show like the court the true nature of what's actually happening and who's trying to co-parent and who's not.
Okay. I don't know, this is gonna sound callous and I don't mean it this way. I don't know that I would necessarily put a lot of weight into that at this point. But I appreciate you raising that. Ms. Bliss, this was your motion. Any additional comments?
Your Honor, I think my pleadings speak for themselves. Obviously, what's in the children's best interest is that they be allowed to engage in the activities that bring them joy. And that's what my client's asking for today.
All right, one thing I did notice is frankly I'm siding with Mr. Hoffman on is Ms. Manser seems to dictate what they're going to be doing and when they're going to be doing it. I understand she doesn't have any control over when practices are, when games are. Clearly, that's obvious and that's out of her control, and I understand that. I also understand Dad has limited time. I think parenting plan is every other weekend. Is that correct? So this arguably could be a large, for lack of a better term, time suck for him. And I didn't, in reading all the declarations, didn't necessarily see it as him not wanting to participate with the kids and these functions, but just being told, oh, this is what they're doing now and you have to do it, is part of the issue. And frankly, she doesn't seem to be including him in those decisions, which frankly, I understand the frustration there, especially when you're looking at, 2 to maybe 3 weekends a month with your children. What I'd like to do, and I have proposed language from both of you. I do have an order on hearing, a hard copy in front of me from Miss Bliss. I think we're in the middle of, I'm sorry, one of them's playing football and one of them's playing something else right now. Is that correct? Or is it just football? Right now?
Just my youngest does football right now.
Okay, and the oldest isn't doing any sports at the current time.
Correct.
Okay. Here's what I'd like to do, and I don't know if I may be able to change this order a little bit to fit what I'm gonna. The temporary parenting plan does not list extracurricular activities. It was entered a year and a half, well, not maybe quite a year and a half ago, last summer. And it doesn't contemplate anything other than, hold on, I have it right here, from July of 2022, talks about school, education, and healthcare. And those are all joint decisions. Or we're left as to joint decision makings. There's no 191 factors in this case that have been founded. I don't know if any were alleged. So I am going to include now extracurricular sporting activities. I'd like that to be included. I'm going to try to write this down while I'm extracurricular activities and sports as a joint decision making. I think we need to, what I can say that is very clear, at least in my opinion, from reading the declarations and kind of reviewing some of the information that set the parenting plan, as I think both of these parties do want what's best for their children, and I have no doubt about that. I don't know that I don't think that Mrs. Manser was being, malicious or doing anything when signing her kids up for this. But I think, and I also understand that it wasn't specifically outlined as a joint decision. I'm going to make it a joint decision. That way, Mr. Hoffman does have some input into that. If there's a certain season or certain activities or certain every April we go camping in Montana, whatever it is, that the parties are aware that they can work together, and that maybe that weekend there's no baseball, or maybe that weekend there's no whatever it is. But I do think extracurricular activities and sports should be a joint decision making. I do think that if if that's something that one thing Mr. Hoffman pointed out, and I don't know, I don't recall it specifically in the response, was some of the counseling or recommendations that one of the children participate in a group activity sport. Having Mr. Hoffman have knowledge of that, since everybody is joint decision making. So hopefully he would have access to that information, knowledge of that information, and they can agree to some of these things. But I want him to be extracurricular activities and sports to be a joint decision making, and that activities that fall on either parent's weekend that they are that they provide transportation. If there is a pre-planned trip function that excludes the child from a practice, a game that falls on a weekend, that needs to be disclosed as quickly as possible. So my hope would be that there isn't a last minute, okay, we're going to go to the beach for the day, because that's easier than going to these 2 football games. I would hope that there can be some, they're in the sport now. Let's let them finish the season as much as they can without interruption. And then every sport moving forward will need to be a joint decision. Does that make sense?
It does, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, my client addressed a lot of that in her reply declaration. You may have seen that the issue had become Mr. Hoffman just simply failing to respond to any correspondence from my client, blocking her on numerous accounts, just not responding. And so I know that that's going to continue to be an issue unless there's some language in there that specifically says that if there is an agreement or disagreement, it needs to be disclosed within a reasonable amount of time. Like agreement shall not be unreasonably withheld. I foresee that being an issue as well. So those would be my requests. I'll, obviously make my pitch to the court and you can make that decision. But I just foresee a lot of us coming back to court every sports season because this is going to be an issue.
I actually proposed in my response that there needs to be a 24-hour response time that I believe Ms. Mansur just did not even address.
24 hours is perfect.
All right, so I'll adopt that 24-hour response time. So again, I understand that it's sometimes difficult to continue to work with people that you're no longer in a relationship with, but you do have children in common that need the best of both of you, and that requires you to work together as much as that may be difficult. So I think a 24-hour response time. And that kind of goes along with any agreements shouldn't be unreasonably withheld. That for the remainder of this football season, I don't know how much longer this goes, but unless there's a pre-planned event, which you let the other parent know about as far in advance as you can, that the activities at least of this season continue, and the parent, if it's on your weekend, you provide transportation. And moving forward, extracurricular activities and sports would be joint decision-making.
And then, Your Honor, can I ask for the $1,500 to be paid by the petitioner as I had to, obtain assistance for the response and find new counsel in the meantime?
I'm not going to award any attorney's fees in this case.
Okay.
For either party. I do believe that I can probably modify your order. There's probably going to be a fair amount of whiteout on it, but I think I can modify it so you don't have to refile it. And just so we're clear, it's going to read that the parenting plan will also include major decisions for extracurricular activities and sports to be joint. That if they fall on the parent's weekend, that parent will provide transportation. Any conflicts notified as far in advance as possible. And that there's a 24-hour response time to any proposals for those activities. Sound good?
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, I will get that filed this afternoon. You should be able to get copies of it off Odyssey within the next couple days.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you. Good luck.